Brexit, May urges EU leaders to consider serious UK plans. The onus is on both sides to do a Brexit deal, Theresa May has told fellow EU leaders as she urged them to back her serious Chequers plan. At a dinner in Salzburg, she told her 27 counterparts a deal had to preserve the deep economic ties while delivering on promises made to Northern Ireland. There are suggestions the UK will put forward new ideas for regulatory checks to resolve the current Irish deadlock. It comes as the PM insisted the EU must also rethink its stance on the border. In a speech over dinner believed to have lasted about 10 minutes, Mrs May stressed her serious proposals for future cooperation between the UK and EU would ensure a shared close relationship. The informal gathering of EU leaders in the Austrian city was the first opportunity the UK PM has had to make the case for her Chequers blueprint to other leaders collectively. Negotiations over the terms of the UK's exit and future relations are a critical stage, with about 6 months to go before the UK is scheduled to leave on March 29, 2019. Mrs May's proposal for the UK to sign up to a common rule book for trade in goods and a common customs territory is unpopular with many in her own party, who believe it will erode British sovereignty and is not what people voted for when they backed Brexit in a referendum in 2016. In a further sign of how difficult it might be for her to persuade the UK Parliament to back the plans, former Minister Mike Penning, who worked under Mrs May at the Home Office and backed her for Tory leader, told the Daily Telegraph they were as dead as a dodo and that he could not back them. What did May tell EU leaders? According to a senior government spokesman, the Prime Minister told her counterparts that Brexit was a uniquely complicated challenge, but one that could be completed on time. She said there was no question of the UK seeking to extend the negotiations beyond March 29, 2019, as Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon is calling for, thus delaying the moment of departure. She said she had put forward serious proposals and the onus on all of us is to get this done. Her 3 priorities, she said, were protecting Northern Ireland's place within the UK, safeguarding trading links with the EU and maintaining a close security relationship with the EU to deal with common threats. Was there anything new on Ireland? On Northern Ireland, there are suggestions the UK will present new proposals in the coming weeks aimed at breaking the impasse with the EU. Brussels has insisted Northern Ireland must stay aligned with its rules unless another solution can be found to preventing physical checks on goods crossing to and from the Irish Republic. The UK has said the EU's so-called backstop is unacceptable and its position must evolve. The BBC's Laura Quinsberg said the UK might accept a border for rules and regulations in time, amid suggestions new proposals on regulatory checks might be published in the coming weeks. But she said there was no chance, as things stand, they will go anywhere near touching a different customs system for Northern Ireland, which would create more friction on the border. How was the UK PM received? This might not become clear until Thursday when the EU's negotiator Michel Barnier will brief European leaders on progress in the negotiations. Mrs May will meet with the Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar and European Council President Donald Tusk. Earlier on Tuesday, the Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, who is hosting the event, said that both sides needed to compromise. The BBC's Europe editor Katja Adler said EU leaders believed they held all the cards, given that time was running out to seal a deal. Mrs May's trump card, she added, was the risk of a no deal, which the EU is increasingly concerned about, if her own proposals are rejected.